Catherine Ham, Brian Wilson, Brian Neiman, today's newsmakers, and you. The Morning Majority, 6:30.
8:07 in the morning, and we have Jimmy Pethokoukis on the phone. You can read him at Reuters. He has a blog there, always on top of it, and on Twitter. You can follow him. How's it going, Jimmy?
Fantastic. I hope you can hear me. I'm on the road. I'm fleeing the earthquakes in Southern Virginia. There was another one last night. Hopefully my home is still there.
Did you feel it this morning?
We were already on the road. We had left, but I know there was a 3.5 down there, right. And so we're until I can be guaranteed no earthquakes, we're not returning.
You're heading out. Now, if I'm to believe you, Jim Pethokoukis, you tell me that Jon Huntsman has a mighty fine tax plan, a mighty free market, pro-growth tax plan. And looking at Jon Huntsman on the trail, I wouldn't necessarily assume that. Tell me what you found out looking at it and talking to him about it.
It's an amazingly free market, pro-growth plan. He would cut the top tax rate and some others down to top tax rate down to 23%, the 35% right now. He'd cut corporate taxes. He'd get rid of all investment taxes. He'd help pay for it by getting rid of all the tax breaks and tax subsidies, the corporate welfare, all that kind of stuff. Listen, if I was designing a tax plan, it might be somewhat different than that, but that was a heck of an improvement from where we're at right now. Certainly anything better than the president's proposed, and so far better than anything that his Republican rivals have proposed.
Well, Huntsman's not largely expected to get the nomination, but what impact could his plan have on the race?
Well, I hope and again, it's not just a tax plan. He also says he embraces the Ryan plan, and I also have a pretty lengthy interview with him on my blog. But hopefully, like the Ryan plan, which I think has hopefully has become a model and sort of set the floor for entitlement reform in the Republican Party, that if you don't propose something I think at least as good as the Ryan plan, I don't think people are going to take you seriously, at least within the GOP. Hopefully what Huntsman's done, particularly on taxes, will set a floor that if the other candidates aren't, it doesn't have to be his plan, but something is equally bold and comprehensive, I think they should be criticized for it.
All right, here's what concerns me, is that the two Republicans who've had the best, I think, economic plans, Jon Huntsman and Pawlenty. Right. Palenti's already out of the race, and Huntsman probably has no chance of winning.
He's on his last leg.
So I know one of the other guys is going to come up with their own plan.
Well, Romney is supposed to come out with his plan next week, and I'm expecting big things from Mitt Romney's plans. He has he has teams of economists working for him. He's supposed to have all this, business insight. He's done it before. So I don't know exactly what he's going to say, but hopefully, in its own way, is every bit as radical, and I mean that in the best possible term, radical, as what Huntsman has proposed.
All right, Huntsman's, the rates would be 8%, 14%, or 23%, right? There would only be three rates. That's amazing. So most Americans would probably pay less than 14%, right, in their taxes.
No, that's right. Obviously, they'll have to pay payroll taxes and all that. Right. Now, of course, you'd also be getting rid of a lot of. It's not just the corporate welfare stuff. He'd be phasing out the mortgage interest deduction, child tax credits.
Wait. And those are things that are near and dear to my heart. Although, trust me, I would be happy to get rid of it. I would do it in a heartbeat to get rid of it if you could get it down to 14% or 8%.
What has the mortgage interest deduction, other than costing a lot of money, done for the United States? It's helped fuel all this investment in the housing. Yeah. Other countries don't have it. Their home ownership rates are exactly the same. To me, exactly. I mean, I don't think you want to get rid of the whole thing in one fell swoop, but just phase that thing out.
Okay, that's what I was going to get to, because I know there would be a lot of blowback from the housing industry, and it's already, on the deathbed right now, the housing market. What would it do if you all of a sudden got rid of the mortgage deduction?
If you phase that thing out, I don't think it would have any impact. I mean, other countries do not have it. Again, the home ownership rates are no different. And would we be moving less resources into housing? Well, versus what else? What has that gotten us other than this huge housing bubble which collapsed and just about put us into a depression? maybe we could be investing in other things than just housing, like, I don't know, the future technologies of tomorrow, something like that.
Well, if I could see my tax rate come down 12%, I might be interested in giving up my home mortgage deduction. I mean, that seems like a fairly good trade-off. You might come out okay in that deal long term. But, I mean, these are good ideas, interesting ideas. Why is it that we're only hearing good ideas from people who have no chance in hell of becoming the President of the United States?
I hope that you were describing a temporary phenomenon. Romney's come out with his. Perry hasn't been in for long. I know they're cooking up something as well. But listen, it might be enough for the Republicans to win the White House just by ripping Obama and talking about how terrible the economy is. That might be enough. But I don't think then you create a mandate for the sorts of, I think, big changes America needs if we're going to get this economy on track and grow and create jobs and increase our standard of living.
When you look at something like Huntsman's plan, which I like, Democrats have talked sort of broadly about doing some of the same things. Do you think it's something that's easily demagogued, that they're just going to turn on immediately, or is it something we could work with?
Well, certainly, if Romney proposes something like this and he's the nominee,
right,
I'm sure Obama's going to attack him on the mortgage stuff. But listen, the core of Huntsman's, at least on the tax side, we said he likes the Ryan plan. That tax plan is more or less one of the tax plans cooked up by Obama's own debt commission that he ignored and gave the stiff arm to. That's where that idea comes from. But Obama completely ignored it. To me, there's already some bipartisan support, and certainly among economists, for the sort of tax reform that Huntsman's talking about.
All right, before we let you go, you're a man that knows business very well. You know the TV side of things. You know journalism. I'm going to make you the head of NBC News right now, or the vice president or president of Comcast, whatever you want to say, who controls NBC. You have a choice on Thursday night at 8 o'clock. You paid hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, for the rights to the NFL. The president wants to give a speech that will be carried on every other network. If you are running NBC, do you go with your regularly scheduled programming, running the NFL and all those commercials that you're going to make a lot of money from, or do you go with the president's speech?
Are you ready for some football? I run like the little ticker tape scrawled on the bottom, like Obama, we must get economy moving.
Now, what you say is, if you want to watch the speech, turn over to MSNBC, but we're going to watch football over here.
Yeah, I think that's wise.
I think so.
All right, Jamie. Good to talk to you as always. We appreciate your time.